came from a broken home. One prayer I prayed that, Lord, open my eyes to see well. And listen, in your journey of having the right side, there are people you must unfollow on Instagram. There are people you must unfollow. Celebrities that are, oh, you know what, I don't want to do marriage, I want to do unfollow. Because if you don't unfollow, you become blind. And blind people always move in wrong direction. People need to unfollow. Imagine me coming from a broken home, they're not seeing things already on social media. There are people I need to unfollow, even not just on social media, even friends. They may even be in church, they have wrong mindset. Unfollow. They can be in choir departments. That we sing together doesn't mean that we sing the same mind. The same mind. You need to unfollow. So that you can see well. They'll tell you business don't make it in this ground. Oh, you don't understand. No. See, when we're about starting our ministry, somebody said to me that pastor's wife, they suffer. And when you are starting ministry, you'll be so hungry. And when you'll be hungry, that's the way you start, you'll be so. She said, naming people that have gone through that. I said that they've gone through doesn't mean that I must go through. I followed her. There are even people that are biologically related to you. That they are biologically related doesn't mean that they are destiny related. So that we can pray. I'll leave you with one or two. How do you activate sight? I've already said it. Train your attention. Force yourself to focus on the right things. Force it. Because you know why you must force it? What you consistently focus on shapes the outcome of your life. Force yourself. Force it. You must train your attention. Tell yourself that there are people that you must give attention to. There are things, there are news you must give attention. You mustn't be everywhere. You mustn't. If you know that you are getting polluted, then don't listen. Don't watch. Don't be in that conversation. You must not hear it. That is news doesn't mean it must be news to you. You mustn't hear it. Train your attention. What you give attention to. And this is what Peter and John was trying to do to the blind man at the beautiful gate, or the lame man at the beautiful gate. Look at it. Let's look at something. Acts 3 verse 1 to 5. Acts 3, 1 to 5. It says, now Peter and John went up together to the temple at the hour of prayer, the 9th hour. Verse 2. And a certain man, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms from those who entered the temple. This is what he was doing with his life. He was lame. He was already lame from birth, a birth defect. So he got used to begging for alms. Probably he may have tried, he has prayed, but yet no answer. So he got used to begging for alms. Now this guy who see Peter and John, the next client for him, customer to beg. If you're from Nigeria, you know what they call Bambiala. You don't know you're Gen Z. Who's seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple asked for alms. He did not stop because he was already used. There's a certain time. It just gets to a time in your life. You just get used to certain things. Now, fixing his eyes on him with John, Peter said, look at us. He didn't perform a miracle first. He said, look at us. Because you must force the attention. If you don't force yourself to concentrate on certain things, you begin to drift to the north or the south, and then you don't know where you are. That's when people are confused. He gave them his attention. Look at us. Because, you see, Peter and John, he has seen Peter and John before he knew it again. He's looking at the next customer. He's looking, his mind is moving like moving. So Peter and John had to command him, look at us. Look at us. You must train your attention. Listen, I need to see marriage differently. When I was in school, I'd already turned into a tomboy because I hated men with a passion. I saw the way my dad treated my mom. I had so much hatred for men. I didn't want to hear marriage. It was that bad. And then I followed my friend one day to her house. She would talk about her mom. Sometimes her dad would call her when we invested. You hear love you. I'm like, love you. My father doesn't do love you. I don't know, love. Love you, say love you too. I'm like, I see the way I'm like, these things exist. So one day I told her, I said, okay, this holiday, let me just follow. I never looked forward to going home for holiday. So I just said, well, let me just follow you to your house. And I traveled with her to her house. And I was there. I saw her father would come and say, he'll say, baby, what kind of food do you care for? And then somehow, and then I just happened that it was their parent marriage anniversary. And then next thing, they were now wishing themselves happy anniversary. I'm like, anniversary. I don't even know what the year my parents got married. I didn't even know that there's something called Annie. How much more anniversary? So, and then when I followed her home to visit her parents, I decided to go again. What was I doing? I was training my attention, training my eyes on what to see so that I can have a different picture about marriage. Don't change the picture you have seen. You will have you still repeat the same negative pattern. Because listen, it's one thing for one pastor to lay hand on you and deliver you. If you don't change your narrative by forcing your eyes to see differently, you repeat the cycle of your parents that you are praying to run away from. I'm telling you. Because whilst you may be delivered, deliverance will happen. You must be very intentional about certain things. If you don't see a business person yielding results, you don't try to just look at some people who are really making it. No matter how you pray from now till tomorrow, if you don't change your sights, if you don't train yourself on what you should see deliberately, every time, nothing will be activated. You can't build. Train your attention. Hebrews 12 verse 2, it says, therefore, we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside. There are things you must lay aside. See, there are offenses you must lay aside. There are things of your past you must lay aside. Results will not just jump. There are bitterness you must lay aside. Your past relationship that hurt you, lay it aside. The pastor that hurt you where you're coming from, lay it aside. Lay it aside. The business that failed, lay it aside. Lay it aside. The person you begged that turned their back on you, lay it aside. Sin which so easily ensnares you, and let us run with endurance. Everybody has a race. But you see, you cannot see the race until there are things you must lay aside. You must force it. See, inside the one that I was already seeing, changing my picture of what I've seen about marriage, I experienced a heartbreak from a pastor I respected. But for me to see the man I have now married, I had to lay him aside. Lay him aside. Lay the comparison aside. I have done ministry in a way that, I wish I had done it differently. The time I did my first refresh tour, I didn't like the result. Rather than staying on it, I laid it aside. There's nothing wrong with you sitting to evaluate, but when you spend time being bitter, you will not produce results. You will only have fear built inside you, not faith. So lay it aside. You didn't have the results, lay it aside. You are alive to have produced results. You didn't work when you were 30. Now you are 40. Lay it aside so that you will not be in your 40s and be living life in your 30s the same way. Lay it aside every weight. And let us run with endurance. race that is set before us. Doing what? Looking unto Jesus. There is a journey to this thing. You can't look until there are things you must lay aside. Reason why you are moving up and down. Even in church, you can't really pray because you are carrying weights. Lay it aside. Lay it aside. Too many offenses. Oh, man, you don't understand. Pastor, you don't get it. You don't know. Lay it aside. That's the word I have for you today. Your faith can never be stirred up when you are carrying things. You refuse, you are dwelling on it. Lay it aside. I lost my child a few years ago. But I said, oh God, you hate me. I'm not saying there are no down times in life. But you see, I won't be standing here growing, enlarging, if I didn't lay that season of my life aside. I was doing the Lord's work when I lost that child. So it wasn't like I was backslided. Doing the Lord's work. Traveling already. Didn't have enough finance that I had needed for me and my husband to go to the right hospital. And somehow a friend offered, and then we had to stay in a particular hospital to give birth. And the doctors, they had their this thing. And then we lost that child. Stayed in the theater for 5 hours. Child was dead. And till now we have just one child. I can say, oh God, I will never, don't use me again. Oh God, I hate life. I hate you, God. Lay it aside. You know why? Because you're not connected to God for the harvest. You're connected to Him because you love Him. So whether there is or not, we are. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, even if He doesn't come, we will still not bow. That's the life. That's the life. So for you to produce results, your faith will be tested. I promise you. You will be tried. There will be moments where it look like, God, are you here? One of the things God helped me through, I'm telling you, the power of sight activates faith. Through that season in my laying aside, Lord, help me to lay it aside. Help me to lay it aside. I stumbled on a woman's video that lost all her children to a plane crash. I said, that only, but you have one. I remember one time, doctor told me to go and do a womb x-ray. I met people in the hospital that had not been able to, 15 years in marriage. They haven't given birth to one. I said, God, thank you. Every time you stay in that place, forcing yourself to lay things aside, Lord, help me to lay it aside. He begin to show you pictures of other people that will strengthen you. They'll become your mirror of encouragement. Things you must lay aside. Things you must lay aside. I want you to pray a prayer. Can we rise up on our feet? Sala bragada. Just pray in the Holy Ghost if you can. Segede. This is a time to onboard Him. Don't